They laughed the moment she stepped onto the dart floor. Not loudly, not enough to get in trouble, but with those small smirks, the snickers, the exchanged glances that say everything without a single word. She knew that laugh. She'd heard it her whole life. And yet, she walked with quiet steps, steady breathing, and eyes that never once looked down. Her name was Lena, and from the way she held the darts, carefully, almost delicately, the entire room decided she was harmless, a nobody, just some simple woman who had no idea how professional-level darts worked. The reigning champion, a tall, overly confident man named Travis, leaned toward his friends and whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Should I go easy on her? Or do I just let her embarrass herself?" His friends burst into laughter. Lena didn't react. She walked to her designated spot, feeling the weight of dozens of eyes watching her, some curious, some mocking, some already convinced she didn't belong here. The judge tapped his clipboard. "First throw, Lena, whenever you're ready." Travis stretched his arms dramatically behind her, muttering, "This'll be good." The crowd chuckled. Lena stepped forward. She held the dart in her fingers, as though she was feeling its heartbeat. She didn't spin it, didn't pretend to warm up, didn't do any of the dramatic gestures the seasoned players love to show off with. She just stood still, breathing, calm, focused. Then, softly but clearly, she whispered something nearly no one heard. "All right, just like before." Her arm lifted. A couple of teens near the back snickered, expecting her to miss the board completely. The dart flew. It was silent for a split second. Then the entire audience leaned in as they heard it. Thud. Direct. Sharp. Final. The judge's mouth dropped first. Then the silence spread across the entire room. The dart wasn't just on the board. It was in the very center. A perfect bullseye. So precise it pierced a tiny ring of red dead center, without touching the surrounding metal. Someone gasped. Someone else dropped their popcorn. Travis stepped forward like he needed to check if it was a trick. Lena didn't look at the board. She simply stepped back, her expression calm, almost peaceful, as if she already knew exactly where the dart had landed. The judge finally stammered. Perfect score. Perfect score. No beginner's luck. No polite applause. A shockwave went through the crowd. People stood on their toes, trying to get a better look at the board. The cameraman zoomed in. Even the other competitors suddenly forgot to breathe. Travis muttered under his breath, "No way, that's impossible." Lena just waited patiently for her next turn, fingertips resting lightly on the remaining darts. The whispers began immediately. Who is she? Did she train professionally? How did she hit the center so clean? Is she some kind of prodigy? Travis tried to regain control of the room by letting out a loud laugh. Beginner's luck. Let's see her try that again. The room fell quiet again as Lena stepped forward for her second throw. Her breathing was steady, her focus unbroken. But before she lifted the dart, she glanced sideways, right at Travis. Not with arrogance, not with challenge, just with quiet confidence. Confidence he didn't understand. Confidence that made his stomach twist slightly. Lena raised her arm. The crowd leaned in. Travis's smirk faded. The entire room held its breath as her fingers released the dart, a movement so small, so controlled. It almost looked like the dart guided itself. Thud. The judge's jaw dropped even lower. Another perfect shot. So perfect that the second dart sliced against the first one, splitting the red center even deeper. The audience erupted, not with laughter this time, but with shock. Travis swore under his breath. Lena stepped back again, hands relaxed at her sides. She wasn't done, and Travis knew it. Something big was coming, something that would flip the entire tournament upside down. Lena stepped forward for her third dart, and by now the entire room had fallen into attention, so sharp it felt like the air itself was waiting. No one whispered. No one joked. Not even Travis dared to breathe too loudly. Everyone wanted to know, was she really this good? Or had the universe just blessed her with two miracles in a row? Lena held her third dart with the same gentle grip as before. She rolled her shoulders once, loosening them, but her eyes stayed locked on the board, unwavering, unbothered by the hundreds of eyes pinned on her. Behind her, Travis's friend whispered, "If she hits the center again, I swear she's not human." Travis snapped, "Shut up. Just watch." But his voice trembled. Lena inhaled slowly. Then she threw, thud, a sound so clean and precise it cut through the room like a blade. For a moment, no one understood what they were looking at. The dart had not simply hit the bullseye. It had split the second dart down the middle, lodging itself perfectly in the same point of impact. A Robin Hood shot, the kind of throw people talked about for years. The judge grabbed the microphone, then realized he didn't even know what to say. His voice cracked as he announced, "Another perfect score. Perfect alignment. This is unprecedented." The room exploded with noise. People rushed forward. Phones came out. Cameras flashed. Someone screamed, "No way!" Another shouted, "That's insane!" Travis's face drained of color as he stumbled toward the board to check it himself. He stared at the 3 darts. The first dead center, the second embedded into it, the third splitting them apart with almost surgical accuracy. His mouth opened, but nothing came out, because there was nothing to say. Lena stepped back calmly, hands folded in front of her, as though this was something she did every weekend. She didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She just waited quietly for the judge's next instruction. But the judge didn't speak yet. He was staring at her papers. Confused, lost, he finally whispered, "Lena, you signed up as a beginner? No experience." She nodded politely. "Yes, this is my first tournament." Travis choked on his own breath. "First? No way. This has to be fake. Nobody walks in and does that." But before he could accuse her of cheating, Lena finally looked at him directly, and for the first time, a tiny spark flickered in her eyes. "I didn't say I was inexperienced," she said softly. "I just said this is my first tournament." Travis stepped back, unsure whether to be intimidated or offended. The crowd murmured wildly. What does she mean? Has she been training secretly? Is she a prodigy? Did she learn from someone famous? Lena didn't answer their questions. Instead, she walked the bench and gently placed her darts down as the judge announced her score to stunned silence. Then it was Travis's turn. He swallowed hard, palms sweating, heart racing. He stepped onto the floor, the same floor he had owned for years, but this time he felt like a stranger in his own kingdom. He lifted his dart. His hands shook. The crowd watched him with pity instead of admiration, and for the first time in his career, he missed the bullseye completely. The dart landed sloppy, wobbling near the outer ring. So far from the center, it drew immediate gasps. Travis stared at it in disbelief, his confidence shattered, his reputation trembling. Meanwhile, Lena sat calmly, watching him with no malice, only a quiet, unspoken truth. Everything was changing now, and Travis knew he was no longer the star of this competition. He wasn't even the biggest threat, because Lena had only just begun. Travis stood frozen, staring at his shaky dart as if it had betrayed him on purpose. The crowd whispered louder now, not about Lena's perfection, but about his collapse. The mighty champion undone by a single quiet woman. He threw his second dart, desperate to recover. It hit closer to the center, but still way off from anything impressive. People exchanged glances. He's cracking under pressure. He's never missed this badly. That woman rattled him. Lena didn't smirk. She didn't gloat. She simply watched with calm, steady eyes, her hands folded neatly in her lap. Her patience, her silence, it made Travis even more nervous. His third dart flew with too much force. It clanged against a metal ring and bounced off the board completely. The room gasped. Someone whispered, "I've never seen him miss the board." Travis's face turned red, then pale, then red again. He looked at the judge, hoping for some kind of excuse, maybe a faulty dart, maybe the lighting, something. But even the judge knew the truth. "This concludes a round," he said quietly. "Scores are clear. Lena, 3 perfect shots, 2 of them impossibly precise. Travis, 1 near miss, 1 mediocre hit, 1 complete disaster." The judge lifted his microphone again, clearing his throat. Advancing to the finals. Lena. The crowd erupted into cheers. Lena stood, bowed her head politely, completely unfazed by the sudden attention. But just as she stepped off the stage, Travis grabbed her arm, not roughly, but with desperate confusion. "Wait," he said, his voice cracking. "How did you do that? Who taught you? Are you some kind of professional pretending to be a beginner?" Lena gently pulled her arm away, though her expression remained soft, almost sympathetic. "I learned from someone who never got the chance to stand on a stage like this," she said quietly. Travis blinked. "What does that mean?" Before she could answer, a voice from the back shouted, "Lena, you're up again soon. Finalists prep backstage." She gave Travis one last look, then walked away, leaving him standing alone, drowning in questions he couldn't begin to untangle. As she headed backstage, competitors stepped aside for her, whispering with awe and curiosity. But one person wasn't whispering. An older man with a silver beard, leaning against the wall, nodded at her knowingly. "You threw well today," he said. Lena paused. "You think so?" "I know so," he replied. "Your father would have been proud." Lena's breath caught. Travis, who had followed at a distance, overheard this, and the pieces began falling into place. Her calm, her precision, her impossible accuracy. He realized with a jolt that this wasn't luck or talent or some hidden celebrity training. It was something much deeper, something personal. But he still didn't know the full truth. Not yet. And Lena was just steps away from entering the finals, where every competitor, every judge, every spectator would soon discover who she really was, and why her first 3 darts were only the beginning. Lena stepped into the finalist area, the lights dimmer here, the noise distant, as though the world outside the curtains didn't exist. Only the dartboard, the table of competitors, and a quiet man with a silver beard stood before her. She approached him slowly. "You knew my father?" she asked. The man smiled faintly. "Knew him? I competed against him for 20 years. Nobody threw like he did, except apparently you." Lena lowered her eyes for a moment, emotion flickering across her face. "He taught me everything, but he never competed again after the accident. He hated the spotlight, so I trained in silence for him." The man nodded, understanding without needing further explanation. Behind them, the judge called the finalists to the stage. Lena stepped forward. The crowd erupted the moment she appeared. Cheers, applause, camera flashes lighting up the hall like stars. People held signs. Chants of her name rose from every corner. Travis stood among the spectators, no mockery left in him, only a quiet respect. This time, no one laughed at her. This time, she wasn't invisible. She was the one everyone had come to see. Her opponents threw first, seasoned professionals, each landing impressive, near-perfect shots. The scores were tight, tension building with every throw. Then it was Lena's turn. She picked up her dart. The crowd fell silent. The world shrank to a single point. She lifted her arm, breathed in, released. Thud, dead center. The arena exploded with applause. Her second shot, thud, another perfect bullseye. Her final shot, she hesitated for half a second, just one heartbeat. Then she whispered under her breath, "For you, Dad." She threw, thud, a perfect Robin Hood. Again, the dart split her second shot cleanly, burying itself inside the first. The crowd went wild. People jumped from their seats. Cameras flashed. The judge's voice cracked as he announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's National Dart Championship, Lena Carter." The hall shook with cheers. Lena stood still for a moment, overwhelmed, eyes shimmering. The man with the silver beard clapped the loudest, pride glowing in his expression. Travis approached her as she stepped off stage. He didn't joke. He didn't smirk. He simply extended his hand. "You're incredible," he said quietly. "I was wrong about you. About everything." Lena took his hand with a gentle nod. It's never too late to learn. Travis smiled, a real one this time. As Lena walked toward the exit, trophy in hand, the crowd chanting her name, she felt a warmth in her chest. Not from the victory, but from the knowledge that her father, wherever he was, would finally be proud of her, not for winning, but for stepping into the light he never could. She had honored him, and she had become something even he never imagined. The simple woman they laughed at was now the champion who silenced them all.